Hello listeners and welcome back to another episode of the Beautiful Game podcast. It's been a minute. I just want to apologise, but getting, professionals within football and, players onto the platform is not an easy feat. So I'm sure you guys will forgive us, and we've got a very special episode to bring you. And with my man, Dej, what are you saying, my guy?
Yeah, man, just to back up what you're saying, especially this time of the season, the players are going through the trenches right now, like midweek games, it's an intensive part of the season, but we're going to keep trying our best to make sure we deliver good content. And I think you guys are going to love this podcast.
So I'm, delighted to announce we're joined in the studio with Arsenal footballer Eddie Nketiah.
Nah.
Yes, thank you guys. Good to be here, man. Good to be here, man.
Bro, it's about time, man. We've been chopping it up for a bit. And Ed was like, boys, I got you. Don't worry, man. And look, you come true, man.
Yeah, man. I come true, man. South of the river.
Come on.
Well, good, man.
Yeah, man. So let's just kick things off from the very beginning. Obviously, I know you're from Ends. I'm from Lewisham myself. So take us back to those days, man.
Yeah, man. So I grew up in Deptford, obviously South East London, Lewisham, and yeah, like every kid, man, you just love football in the ends, man. Going to the cages, playing on the street, hitting cars, doing everything. Literally
no
everything,
ball games.
Bro.
No ball games.
Yeah. Smashing balls at those sides, like just anything, man. So I feel like that kind of just made me who I am, made me want to play football, give me that hunger to like never really like accept being told no, like I think growing up from there, it's not easy, so my family did everything to support me and allow me to get into positions where I can, do things for myself. And obviously my goal is always to get out the ends, and I'm able to have done that for my family and myself. So it's good, man. And yeah, I miss those days. I can't lie. I miss the days of playing in the cage, just free knockouts or whatever it is, man. So no, that's how it kind of started.
No, those are the glory days. Wembley, FA, all of them days. But yeah, so when was that moment where you knew that, I've got a spark for football, that you were attracting attention, or you went to your first football team and that?
I would say probably just from the ends, man. Like, you just get the buzz, man. Everyone's trying to select you first for knockouts or for team games. So I'll probably say that when I was in primary school, I knew I was obviously good. Like I could do what I wanted to do in a playground, and I knew you could tell that you could tell that you had something, but obviously you didn't really know what exactly it was. So I'd say I really got into team because I remember I used to play in the street, and it was like in a cage, and someone was walking by, and like they literally said to me like, oh, I think they worked at Mill or something, and they was like, oh, like you're really good, man, like you should go play. But obviously at least I'm thinking like, oh man, I ain't got time for all that, but I was just trying to enjoy with the man them. So it was mainly when I used to play in the house, kick balls in the house, and I think I broke something in the house. My mum said like to my dad, like, get this guy out of it, like go take him to some club. So I was like 8 under 9s. I went to Hilly Fielders. Hilly Fielders, a few players have been there since on the Road Park they used to play at. So I was there for like a season, but even then it wasn't like too serious because like, Sunday, like everyone, I'm Christian, so we used to go to church. But the games are like 11, so I have to go to church. So I used to go to church, come my little like shirt, a little snitch outfit, and I used to like come but like late. So the game had started and I would be pulling up, and the coach used to always get so angry, but like I had to do it. So I used to come on.
Sub you on straight away?
Nah, to be fair, like say I'll come like 30th minute, out of respect, he told me like wait till half time, you know what I mean? But a few times we're losing, he might just speed up a bit. So even just little stuff like that. Obviously I used to always come in and score and do well and stuff, so I used to kind of get a pass. But it was just those little things that when you look at it now, like if you just turn up to a game like midway through and that, like it's just not really serious, innit? But I feel like that's what made it like fun, because there was no pressure. So I was doing well there for like a year. I was only there for about a year. Then towards the end of the season, we had like a little tournament, and there was a few scouts there, and I got picked up at the time by Charlton and Chelsea. Yeah. So obviously Charlton was closer, and the guy was a bit more. I knew the guy. He's come to a few more games, So we started off going there. It was okay. To be honest, I didn't really like it there, to be fair.
What was it about it? The style of football or what?
I don't know, I just felt different. Like, I missed just playing with like my friends at like Hilly Fielders and stuff like that. And I remember I went to one tournament and like I went, but I wasn't playing enough. Like everyone else, obviously the boys are signing that I'm childless, but I was like, bro, I'm not even playing. I'm meant to show how good I am, innit? And yeah, I don't know what happened. My dad just said that, listen, like, we'll just, that's all right. Like we just want, and the guys like, oh no, stay. So it was like, let's try Chelsea and then see. And then I went to Chelsea. We had like back in the day they used to have like trial ID.
Oh yeah.
So it was like kind of like, I don't know what it was, but it was like 120 kids at the time like that came to like a big event. There was like doing drills, games and stuff. I remember my mum packed me some bright yellow tops. Some bright yellow tops, and they could not miss me. Like literally, they could not miss me. I remember obviously I'd done my thing and. You
can only wear those yellow tops when you're the best player there, though, innit?
That's it, man.
Bro, no pressure still, but my mum said, make sure you wear something bright, like catch their attention. It must have worked, to be fair. At the end, 2 of us got through. Me and, I don't know if you know, a boy called Vashon Newville. He used to be at West Ham, anyway. I don't know where he's at now, but me and him got through kind of thing, and we got through, and then we went to another trial, and it was like with the actual team. I think it was like a 6-week trial, but like, or 6 to 8 weeks, but I had a trip booked for my family to Ghana after like 4.5 weeks. So like we played, and then obviously I was doing more, scoring more. My dad was like, Tim, like obviously we paid for the family trip. He's got to go, obviously. So kind of, can you make a decision early kind of thing? So yeah, that all went well, and then I got in, and that was probably, I joined at the end of under-9, so start of under-10s, and then that's kind of how it started into the academy from there.
Okay, so like obviously you left Chelsea to go to Arsenal. What was the main reason for you leaving Chelsea?
It wasn't really my choice, to be fair, because I was at Chelsea from under 10s to 14s, and I got released at the end of under 14. So that was kind of my first like big setback in football, and it come by surprise, to be honest. Like I was in the same age as that, obviously Declan at Chelsea, Mason, all those guys. So obviously when you're young, all you know, like going Chelsea in school, you're known as the kid play for Chelsea. You know what I mean? Like in the ends, everyone knows you like the young guy from Chelsea. So it's like, is that part of your identity, innit? So it's hard to let go, man. It's hard to let go.
So how did you find that though? Because I think a lot of people are like wrapped up in the success. They see footballers, the cars, the jewelry, etc. But footballers have to go through hardships, man. Like so, like how did that setback register to you?
It was tough to take, to be fair, especially because I was doing so well, at the time I was doing really well. Like I was obviously a bit smaller than everyone else physically, but like I was still doing really well. Technically I was good, I was scoring goals. So not to say I thought I was going to get some, but you thought it was likely that he was going to get something. So it came as more like a bigger shock, So yeah, it was tough to take, man. I remember just going into school, people were like, oh, you got training tomorrow. I'm just like, I'm thinking, how do I break this one? But luckily, like, it wasn't too long a gap between the two. And funny story, like, Charlie Gilmore used to be at Arsenal. So every time I used to play at Arsenal, I used to always do well against Arsenal. So I think even we played them twice that season, I scored 2 in both games. So like his dad was a scout, obviously, and he heard I'd not been. Charlie reached out to me and heard I didn't play, and he's like, "Oh, my dad's a scout for Arsenal. Like, would you be interested?" I just said, "Of course I will, bro." I've supported Arsenal as well, innit? Obviously, at the time Chelsea scouted me, so bro, Chelsea's one of the best academies. We're gonna go there, but obviously my family and everything's Arsenal supporters. So as soon as that kind of opportunity came up, it was them and I think Palace at the time. I was like, I might as well obviously try with Arsenal, and obviously, thankfully, it went well. So I think that kind of helped. Obviously, with the setback, I remember when I got the phone call, like, I was crying. All my family was sad, man, because obviously it's like it's part of you, man.
Yeah, man.
I can't lie, man. That next day at school it wasn't the same. Still,
I'll be calling in sick, man.
The weirdest thing is just like, bro, because like the day I remember it was like a Tuesday or something, and we had like supposed to have training on Thursday, but I don't have no training, bro. I'm going back home with the kids today. Like. It's just little things like that, innit? But I feel like when I look at it now, like it made me stronger, man. Like I can deal with, like at the time that felt like my world was coming to an end. Like things bounced back and got even better for me. Obviously, if I look at it now, so I feel like that kind of helped me become stronger.
So, what is it about the Arsenal Academy? Because obviously we've seen yourself, Reece Nelson, Josh De Silva, who's actually gone to Brentford, Bukayo Saka, who's a sensational talent. Like, what is it about the academy that brings through all these like young ballers consistently?
I'll just say it's a good environment. So obviously you have to say their recruitment is good because they get good talent, man. And I feel like when you're young and you're playing around like better players, you like naturally raise your game and stuff. But no, it's good, man. It's coaching's good. I think when you look through to the Haaland all the way through to like the first team, always good coaches, good people. They make you feel comfortable, and I can only speak highly of it through my time at the academy. And obviously as I went to full time, it just felt like it got better and better, the coaching and stuff. So I'd say that, plus mixed with the fact that they have a pathway for the young players. You know, you see other people doing it. Like you see young players playing in the first team. Like when I was coming through, obviously you probably see like what tubers and stuff playing. So it's like it feels possible. You know, it feels like
you can't be what you can't see, basically.
Exactly, and you feel that. And I feel like even more so like nowadays, like to see so many of us in and around and guys like B and M's playing like regulars for us. You know, like main players. So I feel like it's going to give the next set of, you know, generation like even more confidence to kind of break through. And obviously at the end of the day, I don't know who's going to come through or who's not, but at Arsenal, one thing you always feel like you have that chance to potentially be that one to come through. So I say that's probably the most important thing as a youngster.
Yeah, so like progressing, going up the ranks. Obviously, I know you must have been making a name for yourself in the younger age groups. So when was that moment where you started getting called up to train with like the first team?
I'll probably say like 18. So for me, like as I first went to Arsenal, the problem was I thought I was always good technically and obviously like a threat offensively, but physically I wasn't really developed. I was always smaller, and I feel like when I went to Arsenal first, that under 15s age was probably like one of the toughest of my career, because it's like you're playing against some people that are like 5'10", you know what I mean? Like
some ringers,
some guys,
basically.
you know the ringers, like they have the mad growth spurt and that. I was good. I'm thinking, where's my growth spurt kicking in? Like I'm like 5'4", so I'm playing against 5'10" centre backs, like, or the striker I'm competing. He's like, I remember Justice Silva used to play up front, bro.
Monster.
Like, this guy's an absolute monster. Like I'm looking at him like, bro, this guy's got his man build already. Like I'm a little, so it's like you kind of. But then when I think of it, like that kind of helped me, because I remember coaches saying like, if you can beat a guy at 5'10" now and you're this size, what about when you have his strength? So I feel like that's where I got like kind of my movement. I used to think with my dad all the time, like ways to get advantage. Like I watch obviously movements and timings and stuff. So I felt like that.
So
being
whose
smaller,
movement like did you used to watch? Like which striker did you try and like mirror their game?
A lot, man. I used to watch obviously clips of Wrighty, clips of Thierry and stuff like that. Players that obviously more modern, like Jermaine Defoe. I used to love Jermaine Defoe as well, man. Like he was obviously small. He always found a way to get those half a yards and stuff like that. And obviously to this day, I still watch someone like Jamie Vardy. Like their movements, incredible, you know. So I always tried to pick up little pieces, and my dad's big with that. Like he always helped me, like just come up with little ways of how to get a little advantage. So yeah, and I'll say that definitely helped. And as for when I felt it was kind of it was when I went full time, you know, like, so obviously at 16 you get offered scholarships. So obviously I've got just a 2-year scholarship. Some people have got 1-year scholar, 2-year pro, 3-year pro, or 2, you know, they've got their pros promise. So it's like, obviously it's nice, but in that little thing as well, you feel a bit of like not a shag, but you know what I mean. So it gives you that motivation as well. Like, why they got a pro, I ain't got a pro. But it's like you got that chip on your shoulder, and I felt like I just had that. Like when I look at it now, like I was hungry. Like I could come on, like players. Because I remember I signed obviously, and there was like maybe like 2 strikers signed in from foreign, like Daniel Marlon. In my
he's
position,
doing his thing,
you know
now,
what I mean?
Dortmund now.
Exactly, he's a good player. So they've come in now for big money. You know, I'm coming on a 2-year scholarship, so they're obviously naturally ahead of you. But it's like I don't really care. Like I just had that mentality, like I'm gonna take that shirt and make it mine. I felt like when I went full time, it just clicked. Like I started playing. At the beginning, I wasn't playing as much, but I'll come on and score every game. And then naturally, I made that shirt my own. And then obviously, the more goals I scored a lot at youth level. Then I got recognised for England and stuff. And then as the noise started building up, that's when I started training with the first team. Obviously, a bit more regular, maybe when I was like 17.
So was there like ever any time where you're thinking, oh, I'm 17, 18, like for example, Josh, he made a decision to leave and go Brentford. Was there any other time like when you were thinking, maybe for my development, I may need to go on loan, or I potentially need to leave, or I've got a big decision to make? Was there any that sort of time when you were coming through?
I would say at the beginning, not so much, because like my trajectory was kind of just like that, because I was at the bottom, like so, and I'm going up, and it's like I'm getting closer, like I'm overtaking these people, I'm starting over these people. I'm say they need 3 players, like it's me, Joe and Reece going every week, you know, rather than others. So it's like you don't really feel. Obviously, at the time, it's like I'm 17, so it's like I'm not really like I need to be playing in the first team now. I'm playing 23s. I'm just on the verge, I'm playing for England. So that at that stage, not so much. Probably when I got older, then I started to realise, because I've come on 18 now. I've scored my first 2 goals or whatever. I've played a bit more, and then you've made progress under manager like Arsene Wenger. And then he leaves end of season, new manager, back to square one. I'm in my head thinking, well, I made 10 appearances maybe in my first year at 18. So obviously scored a couple. So you're thinking, obviously next now I can start, starting games or competing. But then a new manager comes in and he just wants results, So it's back to the proud. You got to prove yourself again. And that's probably the season where I first thought like, obviously I'd signed a 5-year deal before, but I thought maybe I need to go on loan, like I think I'm good enough to play. And funny enough, like when I was 19, that season, obviously as Unai come in, I was obviously playing a lot more before, and then as he's coming, I'm not playing as much. So it gets to that Christmas, I'm training with the first team every day on the bench, but I'm not coming on and stuff like that.
So one thing when we speak to footballers, they've got a gripe with like, just show me where I stand kind of thing. Let me know what's the plan. Do you rate me? Am I going to be getting minutes? Did Unai Emery sort of communicate that with you?
He did, but it was more so like, I believe in you, your time will come. But
you want to see action,
exactly.
Show me the minutes.
Exactly, you want to see action. And thinking about it, I can understand, like I'm a centre forward. Well, we've got, at that time, we had Aubameyang and Lacazette, 2 top strikers. Like, even so, being around is obviously good at that age, but it's like, because of the progress I felt like I'd made last year, I felt like the next step, I did this last year at 18, and the next step is to play more, and obviously at the end of the day, he's just come in, man, like he wants results, you get it. He's not really thinking so much probably about, let me just give guys opportunities and stuff. So it's kind of like, I always see it like, sometimes what his objective, what he wants is not really what I need at this current moment. And that's when I started looking. Obviously I said, listen, he wanted me to stay around. I said, I think I need to go and play games, So it was January, I had a very good offer, funny enough.
Where's that from?
Augsburg in the Bundesliga.
Okay,
I was 19, like they offered me the number 9 shirt. Jens Lehmann was working there at the time as well as assistant manager. So everything was in place, because obviously he was saying no to me prior to that. Like, we need you around. I was like, listen, please, I think I need to play. Please, bro. Let me, you get that? No, please, bro. I'm going to his office. Like, please, bro, let me go. Like, he said, okay. So everything's agreed now. Like, it's deadline day as well, innit? So I fly over with my agent, my family. Like, I go to meet them, innit? So I get there now, and like I see a call, innit? From a number. I'm thinking, like, it's not the you get this is not the time to be taking calls, bro. Like, you can congratulate me when it's done. So I do the medical. Like, I'm on the back doing the medical, bro, and then I go to meet the manager and the sporting director. Like, yes, label on the shirt, Nketiah 9. I'm thinking, you get that way? I think we're in. At the time, it's like Bundesliga, there was like mid-table. Like, it's a good move. At 19, it's a good move, Like, number 9 shirt. And then I get to, obviously, the meeting, and then my agent gets a call, innit, obviously, from Huss at the time. He was doing the, obviously, negotiations and stuff. And he's like, Emery wants to speak to Eddie, innit? Like, that's the number that's been calling you. So I'm thinking, like, bro, this guy, I'm thinking, surely not, man. Like, maybe he's calling me again to wish me good luck again, but I just spoke to him last night, like, he said good luck. So I call it, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, like, you can't, like, allow this to go through, like, we're short up front, we need you, like, we got Man City on the weekend, you're going to be involved, I'm just thinking, like, I'm here though, like, I spoke to you last night, you've given me permission, like, I've flown here with, like, my family, like, I'm here with my family, bro, like, the shirt's there, like, I can see this, and you're telling me come back. And I was, obviously, once he said that, there's nothing you can do, so I'm here with the guys, my flight's not till, I've now got to book a return flight, it's not till the evening, bro, like, they're like, should we still show you the stadium? And I'm thinking, what's this? You get? So I'm like, bro, like, and then I come back now, and, bro, to the end of the season, I play 3 games, like, 1 star. I'm like, bro, like, a Bundesliga team's going to let me play every week. And then that's when I realised, like, those little things, just when it starts adding up, like, at the end of the day, the club's going to do what's best for them. So, and I say, people always see this, like, they might think, oh, like, the situation, you're just happy with that. No, I want to play games. Like, I understand the situation I'm in, and I've gone to this fact where I've gone to do this. And I feel like that's what really kicked me, like, you know what, bro, like, at the end of the season, like, I'm going on loan. That's what made me go to Leeds. Like, I'll be like, I'm going there because like, but I can't afford to have another year wasted, especially when I made so much progress. So yes, that was a funny story, but it's just like,
that's mad. People won't know this. Like,
exactly.
So, like, do you feel misled by Unai Emery then, basically? Because as you said, you just played 3 games. He's saying you're going to be involved.
I wouldn't say misled because at the end of the day, you're contracted to Arsenal, innit? And it's like, I still improved, I still developed and stuff, but it's just like, at that time, was it the best thing for my development at the time? Probably not. And obviously, I just felt like the way it went about, if you say no, then you say no. But if you go somewhere and come back, it's obviously a lot harder to take, innit? But at the end of the day, he's a good manager. That was still a good year. I got to play in the Europa League. I travelled obviously to the final on the bench and stuff. So still got experience, but I was obviously weighing it up against the opportunity cost that was on the table. So obviously, like, obviously from a personal point of view, not the best.
Talk to us very quickly about your spell at Leeds. It didn't quite work out, some would say. Why was that?
I would say it was obviously a difficult. I would say it was a good spell, to be fair. I learned a lot. I improved a lot. I worked under a great manager, and I'll probably say it's just at first I probably underestimated how, could say, like, stubborn he was, like, to the fact where it's like he really like believes in like the team being together and like this is a set of players like XYZ. Obviously, when you go somewhere, like, I'm not gonna go somewhere I don't think I'm gonna play. So obviously I've spoken to people and you get, obviously I know I'm not gonna walk into the team, but I felt like I had a lot of other options, you know, like abroad as well, and obviously other teams in the Championship. But I just felt like Leeds, with the profile of the club, the way they wanted to play the football, I felt like it was a good suit, and so did the club, you know. And yeah, I think I started really well, bro. I remember like the first 6-7 games I scored like 4 goals or something already, and I started a couple in the cup, and the rest I was like coming off on the bench, you know. And it got to a point where I'm thinking like, bro, like, what else do I need to do to that start or something? But he's telling me like, just be patient, like he wants you to learn, because it was, bro, never seen training like that in my life.
They
like,
talk about this murder ball. I was like, this murder ball,
crazy, like structured, like drills, like it's like man's revising for exam, like on the pitch. You get it, like, and the training was intense. But I feel like when I look back at that, helped me so much, because obviously I always trained hard, but like I went there, like I was feeling like I felt like I worked hard, like a player that tries to work hard, but I was looking around training thinking like, am I lazy? Like these guys are just sprinting around, like it really takes you out your comfort zone, and like it pushed me to like the point where even to this day, like I remember going back to Arsenal and training, or even going to England, like these guys thinking like I'm on drugs, like the way man's just running around, you know
energy.
I mean? Like, so yeah, no man, it was good, but obviously at the time when I got to that stage maybe where I felt like I should have been playing, I had obviously words, and it was a sad story. People probably don't know this, but I remember after Sheffield Wednesday, it's probably like 9 games in, so I'd been coming on, and obviously I'd scored maybe like 4 goals at that time or something, and we was playing QPR the next day. I remember I was speaking to a bear, he was at QPR at the time. So I came on at half time against Sheffield Wednesday, I got an assist or something, and I played really well. Obviously Bamford was not really scoring at the time as well, so then I remember going in the next week and we did shape work. It was the day before the game, innit? And like I'm doing a shape, and now I'm seeing myself with the starters, and I'm looking around and like, okay, so I'm in now, you get it. And then he's told me now, like, yeah, like you're playing, like this is the run that's gonna be, like this is your time, like, and I'm thinking, obviously the way he operates in it, like once you're in, until you break down, you're in. So I'm thinking like, okay, that this is like what, October, I think, maybe October, end of October. And I remember that session, I felt something in it, and I had like an injury in like my abductor pelvis kind of area. So sad story. I went home, I was thinking, I'm still gonna force it through, but then like, I just remember it was mad. I went for a scan, and then obviously they said I was gonna be out for a month, and I needed surgery in it. So the day I was gonna start the next game, I remember I couldn't play against the QPR, and I'm out for a month now. I missed the whole of November. I come back in December, and then you look at it, it's like I've started 3 games, but obviously because I've missed a month where I potentially could have played, it's like I'm now in December, I'm thinking I'm coming back from injury, I'm going to have to do that process again. January's around the corner, you're thinking, at the moment, obviously no one's really cares about the injury. Like obviously I was going to play, but it's like I still have to go back to step 1 because I've been injured now, do you get it? So it's like, it's December, looking at it with Arsenal, like I've only played, started 4 or 5 games, like am I willing to wait and redo this process again, or am I gonna probably come back and reassess things, innit? And then
that's what I wanted to ask as well is that recently, like, Leeds' new manager came out and said that Marcelo Bielsa overtrains these players. Like, obviously, being a player under Bielsa, were there times where you felt, you know, I'm being pushed to my absolute physical limit kind of thing? This is a character check.
Yeah, no, it's difficult, man. Like, obviously, I didn't really feel like it's difficult to say like where it's wrong, because I felt like, to be fair, he was getting the best out of the players that he had. To be fair, like, everyone was improving a lot, even myself. Like, I was playing, but I'm not gonna lie, the training was hard, man. I remember like going. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You're going to bed when you finish training,
bro. Like, sometimes I would like to go eat. I can't remember going out to eat any times out there, bro. I'm going back home to sleep, bro. I'll be coming back like I'm knackered from training. Like, I'm actually knackered, bro. Like, mad. I was like, wow, and that's probably the first time I really felt like I've been put like out of my comfort zone, like almost every day. Like, I'm coming in, like, I need to rest so I could be ready for what you get. So, nah, it's good, man. I feel like obviously it's difficult. You see that you get a lot of injuries because over time it's like to sustain that intensity whilst playing like that over games, it's difficult. But in terms of a development point of view, like, it helps a lot, man. It does help a lot.
Yeah. So talk to us about this season. Arsenal, I would say, had a slow start, but you lot have picked up form recently, and you're in contention for top 4. So how do you sum up this season so far?
Yeah, I think obviously, like you said, best way to say it was a slow start, but we've picked up. I think obviously it's a transitional phase. A lot of players left, a lot of new players come in, so it's gonna always take time, you know. But I think obviously we've done well. Team are building, they're growing. Obviously, like you said, we're in contention for top 4, which is obviously the aim, obviously, for a club like Arsenal. So no, it's good to obviously be part of, obviously, when the team's going out. We've got a lot of youngish players, so it's like, it's good that it's growing, and you can see that kind of togetherness off and on and off the pitch, you know. So hopefully we can push and end strong and obviously get top 4. That's the aim.
Yeah, because it's funny, because we had Per on the podcast like 3 games into the season, and this is when you're on the back of, like, I think 3 defeats, like in the relegation zone, so everything around the club was like negative. I think you just lost to Man City, so people are like, oh, Arteta, you know, is he the man for the job, X, Y and Z? But I would say so far this season, he's shown that, you know what, he's potentially going to be a top manager, because that middle part, that you were winning games, and now when you look at the league, I know Arsenal fans are thinking, you know, we might be throwing this down the drain, or we're not going to get top 4. But before the season, if you offered Arsenal fans the position you're in right now, I think all of them would have taken it, kind of thing. So how did Arteta sort of steer that negative energy and turn it into a positive? Because the difference was night and day.
Yeah, so I'll probably say it was just kind of like just getting us all together. Like, obviously at the time as well, like, I remember there was quite a few I was injured at the time at the beginning of the season, but I remember even like the first game, there was like COVID cases, like missing players. So Thomas was out injured as well with me at the time. So it's like they didn't really have the full squad together, you know, at the time. Obviously it's no excuse, but I felt like it just took time. Like, players had just come, they needed to adapt. So it was more so the manager just like believing in what we're doing and the players and the group. And when you kind of like instill that in us, it's like after a couple good results, like you just build that kind of togetherness and belief. And I felt like that's what it was after a couple results, like a few wins, maybe not the nicest win or something, and then it all just starts clicking, you know. And to be fair to Mikel, he's always like stuck to his ways, you know. It's like, this is our identity of how we play, this is our principles, and like we're gonna keep doing that. What's
his non-negotiables? Because he always comes out and says, I've got non-negotiables. Like, what would you say?
I'd say obviously sticking to the team identity on the pitch, and obviously just respecting each other, obviously rules in and around the building and stuff like that. So those are probably the biggest non-negotiables that he has.
Eddie, obviously, look, let's keep it real. Like, Mikel has made some massive decisions whilst he's been Arsenal manager. Obviously, we've seen like Aubameyang's left the club, Mesut Ozil left the club. Like, as a young player, you're seeing these, you know, potentially Arsenal legends, I would say, leaving the club because maybe Arteta doesn't fancy them, or he wants to reset the culture of the dressing room. How does that trickle down to the young players? How did you react when you're seeing these big names leave the club?
Yeah, obviously it's different because you've obviously seen these players like growing up playing and stuff like that. But I wouldn't really say it really affect. Obviously, you'll miss them, you know. Like, Oba is a great guy. I learned so much from him. Like, he was so good with me. And obviously, we still talk now, you know. But obviously, it's part and parcel of football at the end of the day. Like, as well as obviously I care about everyone. Like, I'm in my own zone worrying about myself, you know. So every man has their own problems, bro. So as much as I'm concerned for you, like I'm thinking more about myself, you know. So it's kind of a thing like this is football. Like you're never really gonna be on the top forever or be in the best position. So it's kind of like it's just part of parcel of football. Obviously the changes and people moving on. So you just kind of wish them well, you know, and just kind of focus on yourself and the present moment you're in.
No, I heard that, and obviously focusing on yourself. Obviously, you've had 271 minutes this season. That probably averages to like 21 minutes a game. And when I watch you, like you come on and you sort of take advantage of every moment. Like you want to make something happen. You want to make an impact. There was that shot against Crystal Palace. Like we messaged you saying that we thought that was in, man. Thought that was in. You know, Everton. Like you can see you're hungry. Like listen, I want to make a difference. Like I really love your energy. But how sort of frustrating is it not to be playing regularly as you would like?
It's very difficult, man. Like it's been probably one of the hardest seasons, probably. Obviously, I think it's gone on for probably a little while. I remember in January, probably I was playing because last season was in Europa League, so it didn't feel so bad at the beginning of the season. I was playing in the cups. The game was like every 2 weeks, so you might not play in the Premier League, but I was in the squad coming on and stuff, and I'd start every Europa League Cup game. I was scoring goals, and then as we've kind of gone out of that, or going to the later stages, I felt like he's not really been playing as much, and then that's when you kind of like just reevaluate the situation, innit? And as for this season, it's been obviously a bit difficult. Obviously, I'm in a contract situation as well, so yeah, it's been difficult to manage obviously both, and obviously not playing as much as you like, because at the end of the day, it's almost like people have so much expectation of you, but it's like, bro, I'm coming on for 8 minutes. Bro, it's 9 minutes. Like, bro, I'm coming on for 9 minutes. We're winning 1-0, bro. The aim is to like hold on to the lead, bro. It's not like I'm coming on, we need a goal, or having touch. Bro, I might come on 9 minutes and have one touch of the ball, bro, but at the end of the day, I'm okay with doing that for the team, innit? But it's like, the expectation is like, you have to come on literally and just score. Like, I haven't even got the ball, you want to come and score, bro. Like, but like, I feel like you said, when I've had substantial time, like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, like, for example, Wolves, I came on, got the assist, or like, when I come on against Palace, or like the other day, yesterday, when I came on against Brighton, or the crossbar, like, I'm able to do something and obviously show myself, but at the end of the day, like, I'm not one to complain and moan about the situation. Like I said, if you bring one for 9 minutes, I'm going to try my best in the 9 minutes to help the team however they need me, you know. Obviously, as a forward, it's easier, obviously, when you come on, maybe the team needs a goal, because everyone wants to play forward, everyone's rushing. So, yeah, like I said, I've dealt with setbacks in my life, like, so I feel like it's just another hurdle.
Are you someone to sort of like knock on the manager's door and say, Gaffer, like, is there anything in training that I need to do to tweak my game to get a start, or what can I do, boss? Like, I want to be playing more. I've got so much to offer this team.
Yeah, I think so, to be fair. Like, the manager's obviously quite an open person, so I felt like this year more than ever, like, I've probably never spoken to a manager so much. Like, I've literally spoken to him a lot of times, innit? So, like, obviously at the end of the day, like, he picks the team. He's gonna pick what he thinks is best, innit? At the end of the day, like, even, for example, in the beginning of the squad season, like, I wasn't making a squad. I was even on the bench and stuff. So that in itself mentally is a lot to take. Like, you know, you feel like you're at a certain level, obviously, but with the squad size, I wasn't even making a squad. So some people might react in a way and like bother off and training. Me, I go hard and obviously go hard and try to obviously show that. So I've spoken to the manager, and obviously now I'm getting a little bit more opportunities and stuff. So like I said,
what's
it's just
been the reason? Like, they say, Eddie, you know what I want from my strike? I want them to do this, like show you tactical movements, etc.
I don't really think it's a that, to be fair. I think it's just the situation. You have to just look at the situation. At the beginning of the season, we had 3 strikers, myself, Laca and Oba, and he's just seen them obviously ahead of me. Like, it's the realism of the decision, not so much as this, I need to be doing this in training. I'm training well, I'm doing well with the opportunities, but at the end of the day, they've done well in their careers, where Oba was at a status in the club where it's like he's going to get the opportunities to play, and he deserved them because obviously what he's done for the club. So I don't think it was a thing where it's like, what do I need to do? It's just like, these people are playing ahead, and that's probably why maybe I was looking at obviously other possibilities for the future.
So obviously you mentioned that you're in a contract situation. So what's the current situation right now as things stand?
Yeah, obviously I'm under contract to the end of the season, but my deal runs out. Obviously there's been talks and obviously offers of obviously a new contract, but like I said, at the moment I'm just my aim is to play football, you know, and play regularly. So that's my ambition, and that's what I hope to do. But at the same time, I'm at Arsenal. I love Arsenal, so I'm just trying to focus on the season so much and make sure I finish that in a good way, and then sit down and see what I think is the best opportunity to allow me to take those steps and develop. Because for me, I feel like I'm at the stage where I'm thinking, because I've had signed a contract 5 years when I was 18, and in that 5 years, how many starts have I had here? Like I've been on loan for 6 months and been here for the rest of them, and I probably started about 30 games maybe. I've looked at everything, like in all competitions, 30 games, and it's like you can never really like get to the heights you want. Like people start 30 games in one season, you know.
Yeah.
Like these guys, and I see obviously players my age that I've played with, and they kick on. It's like, what's the difference between someone I was playing with at England U21? I was the captain for them, and they're doing well and playing. It's like, it's not even a thing of looking at them and hating. I'm happy for them, but it's like, how did they get to the point where they're feeling confident and playing? It's like through playing those games and having that experience. And that's why I felt like, okay, for me to take the next step and get to where I think I can get to, it's like I need to consider obviously getting more minutes and playing. So yeah, that's a bit kind of the thinking behind it.
Yeah, because Arteta, especially around January time, I know there was a lot of noise. Newcastle were interested, Palace were interested. Was anything sort of close in January? Like, was there like a possibility of you leaving?
I think so. Well, obviously it was a transfer period, so anyone can obviously leave, and obviously I know there was teams interested and offers made, obviously rejected.
From Germany as well, yeah.
Yeah, obviously offers were rejected, but I try not to. Obviously, I'm aware of the interest, but I try not to get too hands on those things. It's like they kind of play a part to how you affect your day to day. So obviously, I've got a good agency, good family around me, obviously. So I let them kind of deal with things, and when it's real, like potentially about to happen, then that's when I'll step in, you know. So yeah, I was just obviously offers were made, but at the end of the day, I remained, and I'm fully focused on finishing the season as well as I can, and then after that, I have time to think and decide what's best for my future.
Yeah, because Arteta sort of, as I said, he came out with a public display of affection saying, you know, Eddie, he's got Arsenal DNA, you love him, training, like he's training very well. If he doesn't play, it's my fault, I take responsibility. Yeah. But words can only go so far, and at the moment, we're in April, your contract runs out in June. Would it be fair to say next season you won't be an Arsenal player?
It's difficult to say. Obviously, at the moment, I would say my stance is the same. Like I want to play games. Obviously, I've not started a game in the Premier League this season, which I'm not here complaining about. But it's like, for me, I would think I'm at the level where I can play, and potentially I could get the opportunity elsewhere. So that's why I'm thinking about it. So I try not to obviously dive to. Obviously, you're free to speak with clubs and stuff now, but like I said, I try to leave my family and agency to do that sort of things. My stance is that I'll just be honest and clear. Like my aim is to play football. You know, that's what everyone's aim should be. You know, yeah. So like I said, there's not long left of the season now, so it's just about helping the team get and achieve their goals, and then after I can be potentially selfish and think about what I think is best with the people around me and decide from there, kind of thing.
Do you think you and Laca can actually play together as a two?
Yeah, so I feel like I really like Laca as a player. You know, especially as a striker, you can appreciate obviously what he does when you play in the position, how hard it is. And yeah, I enjoy playing with Laca. I think more so when we're down, for example, like the last game against Brighton or Palace, we come on and we switch to kind of like a two up front. So it is good. Like I feel like most of my career I've played as a one, but when you're playing with a two, someone that like Laca who understands the game and you can combine and link up with, it does help, man. Because I think also as a centre forward, like when you're playing against a back three or back two, it's like when it's one, it's easier for them to occupy. But when there's someone else, there's more space. You can drift out the game, you know, go into different areas. So I actually enjoy playing in a two, and I think I can play with him, obviously. And when I have done, I think it's been okay, you know.
Yeah, because Arsenal fans, when you hear the noise, it's always like, we need a new number 9. Ubba's gone, you know, let's sign Vlahovic, let's sign Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Are you sort of sitting there thinking, you know what, I can be a solution? Like, if you give me the minutes, like, sorry to go off on a tangent, like, I think some players, like, they're happy, okay, I start 5-6 games in a row, I play 60-70 minutes, I miss chances or whatever, you know what, I can finally accept that maybe I'm not at this level.
Yeah.
But with you, it doesn't feel like you've had that opportunity to have that run where, okay, you know what, maybe I'm just
not good enough. Yeah, that's probably my biggest frustration. It's like, I can't remember a time I've ever had 3 games in a row like to actually play. So it's like you say all these things was like, how can you judge someone, bro? Like give someone an opportunity, you know? Like cool, if I start 3-4 games I don't score, that's on me. But if I start one game, I'm starting okay, but we haven't scored and I'm off at 59th minute.
Not
like
easy, man.
what am I meant to do? You know, I'm coming on 8-7 minutes to come and save the day, man. You get it, it's difficult, bro. Like that's what you want as a player, like an opportunity. 5-6 games in a row, like cool, you played, you've not delivered. You can hold your hands up and say, cool, like you said, maybe I'm not of that, or I need to improve. So it's like that's the frustration for me. It's like you need to collect the evidence, even for myself. When I play, if I've played 4 or 5 games, then I know, cool, I struggled with these things in these 4 or 5 games. This is what I need to go away and improve on. But you don't really feel like you've got that opportunity or you're gonna get that opportunity. So that's probably the hardest thing.
And like just as an example, we can even use like Tammy Abraham, for example. He, you know, was a highly rated young English striker, scoring goals at youth level, but didn't really get the chance at Chelsea. Obviously, he had that one breakthrough season under Frank Lampard. It's gone to Roma, and now he's been linked with like £100 million moves to Man City and Man United. And I'm in a group chat and I always defend you because I think you're a good player. I think you're a goal scorer, and if you get that opportunity, you will take it. But yeah, like when you do come off the bench, what is that mentality? Are you thinking I need to score to get a start, or are you just thinking if I help the team turn the game around, that will probably be enough?
I think I'm a goal scorer. Like I always want to. Every time I want to, even if I want a bit for two minutes, but I'm hoping I can score. You know, that's just me as a person. That's how I've been as a kid. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, you have to respect the demands of the game. Like I'm realistic. I think when I was a lot younger, I think obviously when you played my first 2 games, like I scored my first touch. So it's like the expectation is you get every time you call in a pit. I'm even in my head, I'm thinking I can score if you get any touch. But it's like the reason of the situation, like I look through the team, like how many people have come off the bench even scored for us this season? Like there's not many, you know what I mean? So it depends on the situation, you know. I feel like I try to do the best with the minutes I can, obviously, and I think it's about mentally getting your head around prepared, because sometimes you can expect more, like think I've done well here, I deserve to start, and then you don't start, and then mentally it's difficult to take. So I just try to, like I said, do as best as I can with the situation I'm in and help the team as much as I can. And well, if that's scoring a goal, that's scoring a goal. If that's helping see out the lead, that's helping see out the lead. You know what I mean?
So what's the mood in the camp right now? Because obviously the past week, 2 defeats, it's sort of like, oh, Arsenal have hit a tricky patch. Like everyone was sort of saying they're going to finish top 4, but now sort of Tottenham are favourites for that. You know, naturally that's going to knock your confidence because you're used to winning football matches. So how are the boys feeling? Like what message can you give Arsenal fans about the current sort of mental state of the players right now?
I can give the fans a message that we're fighting to do everything we can to bounce back. You know, I think obviously sometimes it's difficult and you've obviously lost back to back, but you can't forget about the run that we've obviously been on, and I think all the players know that, and we're all confident and, you know, training hard, working hard to make sure we turn it around. You know, I think there's a lot to play for, and, you know, we're going to give out all these last 6-7 weeks to make sure we try and finish as high as possible.
So also, like, with your minutes or not starting, do you think it's interlinked with the contract situation kind of thing? Because again, we've interviewed a lot of footballers and they sort of say, you know, there's football politics that basically the club are trying to coax me into signing a deal, then I'll start kind of. Do you think politics or...
Listen, man, I'm no politician. So I'm no politician. I don't know, man. But at the end of the day, like, I just try not to even think about all that, because at the end of the day, whether I think is that or not, I can't change it. It's not going to change my situation. You get it? So, like I said, I try to be as positive as I can and put myself in the best mental frame. You know that. Listen, this is your situation. The good thing about your situation, you have an opportunity to choose and decide your future. You know, so like just look at it as that and try and do as best as you can. So yeah, that's the way I try to look at it.
And talk to us about your international future. Obviously, you're the record goal scorer for the under-21s. You've knocked in bare goals. Mad amount of goals. And obviously that's basically evidence. You've shown that you can score consistently. But obviously, Ghana have qualified for the World Cup.
Yeah.
And
We were stressed, man.
Yeah, we were stressed.
You guys won the plantain derby, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Nigeria embarrassed. I was trying to hide from that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Obviously, you also qualified to play for Ghana.
Yeah.
Is that something the Ghanaian FA have been in touch with you? Have they spoken to you? Or?
Yeah. So obviously, like you said, my parents are both Ghanaian of Ghana heritage. So yeah, of course, it's a possibility. You know, I think I'm open to both, whether it's playing for Ghana and obviously England as well. Like I said, I've played through the youth team, so naturally, when I was obviously younger, it just made sense. Obviously, they called me up to go and play for them. So obviously, you know, it's good. Obviously, being from Ghana, you're obviously happy that they qualified for the World Cup. Obviously, I know players like Thomas. I'm happy for them as well. So. Listen, it's always good to have that opportunity to potentially do that.
Has Thomas been in your ear?
Yeah,
come on, need some kenke as well.
He has, to be fair. And I think, like you said, the situation I'm in is kind of like, that's priority first, like my club situation. You got to know what you're doing for the season. There's no point looking too far ahead when there's something that a big decision in your career coming in front. So I've kind of always been consistent when I've had those talks, or potentially to put that across that, like, at the moment my full focus is obviously my club and making sure I sort out things for next season, and then obviously once that's finished, then I can really sit down with my family and have that kind of discussion. So I'll just say it's open to both, you know, like I'm not closing the door to anything, and obviously it's great to have the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, because like apparently Ghana are trying to make a drive, like they're trying to get Tariq Lamptey, they're trying to get Cho, they're trying to get the Anaki brothers, like, and obviously if all those players, like, it could be a mad World Cup. So like, and also, do you sort of look at it from a strategic point of view that, okay, England, Harry Kane, let's say he's going to be there for the next 4 or 5 years if he's fit, and obviously England playing the one, maybe Tammy's probably going to be number 2. Do you look at it like potentially like, let me sort of look at this strategically, like where do I kind of fit into that kind of thing? Like, is it you know, viable?
I feel like, to be fair, I haven't really looked at it in that way, to be fair. I just look at it like from an individual point of view. I look at myself and where I think my ceiling is, you know, so I don't shy away from competition, you know. I feel like there's competition everywhere, so that's why I feel like I'm so focused on my club career, because I know if I'm doing well at my club and doing consistently, like, doors were open to everything. So I've kind of, with that, just like I said, put that to the side, where it's like I can look at that in the near future once I've sorted that out, you know. But like I said, I've not shut the door to anything. I'm open to both. I feel that's the best position to have at the moment.
No, that makes sense, man. So yeah, I think this has been a dope chat, and obviously we've got a gift for you. You know, we speak to the people at Goal Hangers that they gave us a frame of like your record-breaking goal.
Thank you.
Yeah, when you scored against Turkey, when Cess played you in.
I know, man.
You just slammed it in.
So like, Cess, man.
Yeah, we want to like present you this, man. Like,
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, guys.
No problem, man.
So talk to us about that goal, man. What was going through your head?
You know what? Obviously, the record I knew before, I didn't really know about the record, you know. But then as I've started to get closer, like the people I've spoken, so like the gaffer, AD at the time, was a great guy, man. Love AD. Obviously, I was captain, so he spoke to me quite a lot, you know, and then he kind of just sat me down. He was like, bro, do you know, like, you're so close to, like, breaking a record? I was like, yeah. And then he showed me, and I was like, oh, wow. And then, obviously, I went home to my parents, and I think at the time, I was a bit away in it, but he was, like, just saying, like, you know what I mean? Like, the rate you're scoring, because I was scoring, like, almost every game. I think I scored a hat-trick, and then I was, like, maybe 1 or 2 off it or something. So, obviously, going into the game, I knew I was going to score, but shout out to the lads, like they were all saying, like, listen, if we're gonna feed you, innit? Like, I was thinking, like, I'm definitely gonna score, I'm gonna get a sweaty goal or something, like. So yeah, when I got through and I scored, it was just a relief, man. It's like, obviously at the end of the day, a lot of people play, a lot of top players have played for England under 21s, but I remember watching it when I was young, seeing how many players have played there. So it's a blessing, man, to obviously have broke the record, and obviously something that no one can take away from you, obviously, until someone maybe breaks it.
You know, records are there to be broken, innit?
For now, it's with me, so yeah, I'm happy with that, man.
And another thing we sort of didn't cover was like your hat-trick against Sunderland, man. Like, you have had some highlights this season. It's not all been sort of on the bench and stuff. Like, you show your worth, so it's like you're doing what you can with the minutes that are given. So it's like,
yeah, no, definitely that was a highlight, man. I think, like you said, I see something people always say, like, the Carabao Cup's your cup. I was like, bro, that's the only cup I start every game. Realistically, that's probably why I've done so well. Like, I play all the time. Majority, I get the opportunity to play 90 minutes and stuff. So there's more opportunity for me to score and play well. So no, like you said, I've had some highs. Obviously, there's been some lows, but there's also been some highs. And obviously, I've scored quite a few goals in that competition. And that hat trick is great. Like, it was my first kind of senior hat trick. So took the match ball and yeah, man.
Yeah, we saw the smile on your face,
exactly,
man.
That's
interview after, you're like, listen, like I just want to play. Like I'm hungry to play. I'm here, you know, kind of thing. And that's all you can do, man.
Exactly, man. That's what we can do, man.
So, like, in terms of, obviously, I know Arsenal fans because you read a lot in the media about you and Lacazette, your contracts coming to an end. Like, so naturally, people are thinking, yeah, Eddie's moving on, Lacazette's moving on. Like, what can you say to them if this is your last season as an Arsenal player? Like, if
what I can say is just that I love the club. Like, I'm a childhood supporter as well. You know, people need to remember this. Like, it's always been my goal to be the number 9 at Arsenal, and like that and that only. You know, like I think I've always felt I'm good enough to do that, and I've always been driven towards that. But what I will say is like I'm 100% totally committed to the club and achieving their goals this season. You know, and like I said, whether I get 5, 10, 15 a start, I'm going to try and do as much as I can to help the team, you know, and do well. So obviously I want to do as well as much as they want to win as well. So yeah, that's my aim, to just do as well as I can for the end of the season, and then we'll see what the future holds after that.
Yeah, man, and we wish you all the best.
I'm going to do a quick fire.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just going to quickly go into maybe 3 questions outside of football. So what do you get up to?
PlayStation, shopping.
You can see by the drip, man.
I try one, two, man. Check the gram.
Came out the studio, we recognise you straight away, man. There was no if buts or maybes, man.
Yeah, man. Just into that a bit. Yeah, just with my family, with my friends, man. Pretty chilled. No crazy hobbies or crazy different hobbies. Just normal stuff, man. To be fair, but I just like to chill and be with my friends and family.
Yeah, so how do you also cope with like the media spotlight? Because recently we've seen like Ivan Toney embroiled in some things where, you know, people can edit things and make players look like they say something. I think Phil Foden and his family got involved in like a ruckus at a boxing match. So how do you sort of deal with that sort of fame? Because obviously you're recognisable, you play for one of the biggest clubs in England. Yeah. So how do you sort of protect yourself from any sort of shenanigans?
Just try to keep it easy, man. Be steady, you get it. I think, I just always be aware of my surroundings, you know, don't do too much. But I feel like I'm pretty chill. Obviously, I like to enjoy my time off and stuff. So it's just about doing it in a sensible way, you know, and obviously at the right moments, at the right times, obviously. And yeah, man, like I haven't really had no bad experiences. Most of the Arsenal fans I see in person, they all show me love. So
Come on.
I can't
talking
complain.
Like general people in the public, you know, people trying to like gold you or
like
bait you.
You just gotta be easy. Like I think when you go out from the end, you're always kind of like street aware, man.
Streetwise
guys are always you've always got to be your toes around there. And someone coming to rob you or something. Like I feel like I'm just streetwise. I just know how to navigate through. So I just stay away from any dramas, man.
And how do you deal with the fame?
I just keep a level head, man. I never try to get too high or too low. Like I remember after I scored the hat trick, like obviously I was happy, but I kind of was just on my way home with my cousin, innit? My cousin staying with me. Like he's like, bro, man, like why ain't you buzzed? Like why ain't you like more gas? Like, I'm like, bro, like obviously I'm happy with the hat trick, but bro, it's just how the game goes. Like I'm gonna score hat trick, I might not score the next game. I'm gonna be angry, so I'd rather just try to. My dad always taught me like just manage the highs, man. Just try not to get too high, try not to get too low, man, and just keep it steady. But at the same time, like obviously the fame is a blessing, innit, man? A blessing and a curse. So you just gotta use it as much as you can, obviously, to help the people around you. And that's what I try to do, man.
So like, who's the best player that you've ever played with in terms of talent? Like you thought, you know what, this guy's just too wavy, he's too sick.
But like young player?
No, like I'm talking pro, like Arsenal. Even under 21s.
It's difficult, man. I'll say, if I'm talking about like first team at Arsenal, probably Santi Cazorla, man.
Oh yeah, a lot of people say that. Yeah,
he was.
Say that again.
Maybe Joe Willock come out.
He was a joke, man. I can't lie. He's left foot, right foot. He just looks like some little. Yeah, he looks little. He's a bit kind of stocky as well. He don't really look like, you know, some guys got their football style. He don't really look like it. But
that's what makes
him
mad.
You can't get the ball off this guy, man. Like literally can't get off him. Left foot, right foot. I remember we used to do like set pieces with us and like the players, like he'll be taking a call with his right foot. He'll be like, no, like outswinger. The guy will just walk over to his left foot, put it on someone's head, bro. I'm like, bro, this guy was a joke, man. As for young players, there's a lot, man. But what's really just coming to my head, probably, I'll say Sanch, man. I remember playing with Sanch like the first time, England U21s. I think we played like Faroe Islands, something like that. Like, and obviously you hear about people's names. Obviously, I know Sanch through the ends.
Yeah, he's from like Kennedy.
I've played against him a few times. Obviously, he's from South as well. So you just hear about him, but like, I'd never really been on the same team with him. So I was just thinking like, let's see what this guy's see what he's really saying. Obviously, bro, this guy's having fun with it. But like, usually sometimes, you know, when you play with someone like they take loads of touches, you think like this guy's just doing. Bro, like he will be. I remember that game. I scored 4 goals. This guy assisted 3 of my goals, that and on a plate for me. Like, like he'll do everything, like all his tricks, and then boom, just slip you in, bro. Like he's a joke, man. Like probably the most talented I've seen, man.
He's coming into a bit of form this season, man. Like we wish him well. I like him. Like,
good guy as well, man. Good guy.
Eddie, last one from me. Best player in the Premier League for you?
Probably De Bruyne, man. De Bruyne is a joke, I'll say. I'll say I like Harry Kane as well, too. I think what he's doing, I know it's crazy, but yeah, Kevin De Bruyne, some of the passes you can see, you just dream of getting on the end of it. Dream of getting on the end.
And obviously, I just want to make it clear, you respect Harry Kane as a striker, because you know some mad fans can be like, Eddie, you know there's twisted fans, innit? You know what I'm saying? You know some people clip this out.
There's some sick fans out there, man. But no, Eddie, it's been a privilege.
I wanted to ask one more question. Obviously, the title race this season, back and forth, it's mad right now. In your opinion, who do you think is going to win the Premier League? Like based on the 2 teams that you played this season, how would you stack up the quality? Where you think, oh, this side slightly edge it, or how do you see it?
It's a tough one, man. I think it's very close, to be fair. That both teams are really good joke to play against, man. But if I had to choose one, I'll probably say I think Man City, you know, just nip it for me. But what do I know?
You've got your own stuff to sort out.
But I think City, both teams are great, but I think maybe City will just nip it.
Yeah, man. As I said, like I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with you in the summer. Obviously, we wish you the best. Like, we want you to see your career elevate. And it kind of reminds me of a certain situation when we had Keenan Davis on our podcast. He was at Aston Villa, wasn't getting games. And he sort of said to us, like, yeah, I'm open to going out on loan. And, like, I'm not sure if you've seen, if you check his record in the Championship, he is absolutely destroying the league. So it just shows that, you know, even if you don't sort of make your name at like a bigger club or whatever, you can go somewhere else, build your name up. I think that's what these clubs like. They like track record. The bigger club, innit? Like definitely. They'll probably go with track record over a younger player, so to speak, man. So if you do leave, no doubt that you're going to be back firing goals, man. And we wish you the best,
man. Thank you, man. Been a pleasure, guys. Been a pleasure.
Yeah, so we're going to leave it there. That's another episode of the Beautiful Game podcast. Follow our social handles: Twitter at podcast_TBG, Instagram at pod_TBG. Like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Beautiful Game, and we will see you next time. Peace.